Select Board meeting of March 29th at 6:30 with a roll call.
Kilcoyne, present.
Smith, present.
Branson present. Gentlemen, get a chance to read the minutes?
We did a couple of minor changes. I made them. They're already in here. And so I'll make a motion. We approve the Select Board, Town of Sterling Select Board minutes of March 23rd, 2023. That's the school committee one.
Right,
Okay.
of last Thursday.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Branson, aye.
And I'll make a motion. We approve the Town of Sterling Select Board minutes of March 15th, 2023 as written.
Seconded.
All right, I just asked Carmen to make one change, which really doesn't affect anything, but the candidates night is the 24th, not the 27th.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And, geez, I forgot to do the pledge. So we'll have to get to it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I might mention that it's good to see Vicki Smith in the room with us tonight,
Absolutely.
because last meeting she scared the bejesus out of us. Thank you very much. Okay. So this evening we have a public hearing to approve the order of layout for Primrose Lane. It sounds familiar, but, so I would entertain a motion to open that hearing.
So move.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Branson, aye. All right, so we've, what?
Did you vote on the second set of minutes?
Yes.
Yes, pay attention.
I got just very distracted by the lack of a pledge. Joe and I were thrown off.
Really? Were you gonna jump up and say, hey?
A little nervous.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to you, Joe. What a surprise. Anyway, we have a motion to open the hearing as far as the order of layout on Primrose Lane. And so that is done. And is there anything that we need to know or add to this, Mr. Percari?
Not to my knowledge. It's been thoroughly inspected and approved by the planning board and their engineer and UBW and anybody else that was interested.
Okay, any questions, John?
No, it's been a long time coming. It's been received all the proper approvals, thankfully.
Good.
So this plan, once we vote for it, is to be forwarded to the town clerk for filing and hereby reported to the town for acceptance. So that'll go on our warrant on May 1st.
Thank you.
So can I have, I would entertain a motion to approve the order of layout for Primrose Lane.
Motion, I moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Branson, aye. Okay, Ron, we'll see you at town meeting.
Thank you.
All right. And we will move on from the public hearing back to our regular scheduled meeting. We're going to skip the approval of antique permits for the moment because we do have our volunteer for the Historical Commission. And, oh, can I have a vote to leave?
Move to exit public hearing and return to the regular meeting.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Branson, aye. All right, so Amanda, would you like to get up and introduce yourself and let people know what you're thinking?
Sure.
You can go right to the podium.
Oh.
That way you really get on television. You'll be famous after this.
So my name is Amanda Littlefield. I've been a historian for the last 20 or so years, focused in royal history, but I've also been in the school system and assistant teaching I've always loved history, and now that I'm back living in my hometown, where my grandparents were, I wanted to be a part of the community and contribute to the historical commission in any way that I can.
John, any questions for Amanda?
And you have no restrictions regarding meetings and all that, I imagine you're pretty free to attend them and,
Yes.
okay. Good, good background.
David?
Yes, that's me. I just want to thank you for your volunteerism. It's really important to a town like ours for people to step up and do what you're doing, so thank you.
And I think we should mention you're a royal historian with experience in presenting historical context for the public, for the general public, and for television segments.
That's right.
You've done that?
I have. Yep.
So you're used to this. And volunteered for the Historic New England Digital Archives transcription, which is pretty important, especially where you're going now,
Yes.
if the, board approves. But anyway, thank you for your volunteerism. We're always appreciative of people that raise their hands and move forward. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Amanda Littlefield to the Sterling Historical Commission.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Amanda? Roseanne?
Hi, Amanda, thank you for stepping up. I have a question.
Name, please?
Roseanne Mapp, sorry, Taft Road. I have a question. I think there's a lot of people in town here that are, very interested in finding out about Sterling history and role Sterling has played in the area. And there doesn't seem to be a lot coming out of anywhere in the town to inform the townspeople of what Sterling has to offer, what it did offer, how it started, and all that other stuff, or especially for those people who were not raised here, or are newcomers to town and everything else. I've been here 30 years, and I'd love to find out more. So I would be very appreciative if you could get that going.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great.
So, all those in favor?
Sir?
We did a motion, we moved it, we opened for discussion, we took a question, and now we're voting.
Well, Kilcoyne, I am.
Thank you.
Smith, aye.
Grants and I, oh my God, this is going to be a long meeting. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
You'll have to see the town clerk to get sworn in and take an ethics test. It's very difficult. If you need any help, just call David, he'll help you out.
John will help you. He's retired.
But thank you again. If you have any questions too, you can always go see Kama. Her office is right across the hall.
Okay.
And she pretty much knows everything that you need to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple times to get it right. Just keep
Yeah.
going.
Okay, and now we have Matt Morrow here, who is a familiar face. He's been our agent and our ADA coordinator for our Conservation Board for quite a while, and now he's volunteering to actually work on the Conservation Commission. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Morrow. I have a relationship with this wonderful town that goes back like almost 25 years now. I have worked with the Conservation Commission. I was blessed to work with them for well over 20 years. A lot of the commissioners I started working with when I first started here are still here. So I have a wonderful working relationship with them. We currently have 3 candidates right now to fill my old position as agent, which I'm actually doing now voluntarily to help out the town in the interim. That are wonderful candidates that I know I could help with being a support system with my institutional knowledge of the files that go back, knowledge of the players, knowledge of the professional community that they'd be interacting with, and would be able to provide a support for them as well. I was fortunate because when you're an agent in a town, conservation is a very unusual animal, and when you're an actual conservation agent, there are times when, the commissioners are volunteers, they're removed because they've got, a a lot of work to do. They've got their own lives, and sometimes you feel like you're, except for the meetings, you're doing this stuff alone. I've been fortunate where I've had a chairman here that was always ready to support. And I would envision part of my role as being able to work with whoever you hire as a replacement to help lift some of the burden off Barbara's shoulders, because she does a lot with, like she did a lot with me during the course of the day when I was with her. We talked all the time, all through the week. And really think I could offer that service as well as my professional knowledge, you know, in wetland science, and stormwater. I guess that's basically it.
John, any questions?
We couldn't have a more qualified, experienced candidate for this. Grateful, Matt, for your volunteerism on this one after a long, distinguished career as our conservation agent, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, I echo that. Thank you for your service to the town and your continued service at volunteer status. We appreciate that.
Being a professional staff at the town of Sterling was probably one of the greatest joys of my life. I have to be totally honest with you here. The town, I've worked in a myriad of towns throughout the Commonwealth. The thing I like about the people of Sterling is they're just straight out, ordinary, wonderful, happy to be with people. You just can't help but love the people in this town. And you know, it's one of the things that I've impressed upon our agents that have stepped forward to interview as the agents. Because I had one candidate that asked specifically, you know, what is your view of the dynamics in the town? And my response was, look, I was here as an agent for over 20 years. I'm still here working for free, and I'm going to volunteer because I like being here. That should tell you the story. So I just wanted to say that because, you know, when I retired, I didn't have a chance to make a statement to you guys. And that's my statement. It's a joyful part of my life that I will never, ever forget. So,
Thanks, Matt.
thank you.
As I said, Sean Hamilton over at SMLD, retirement's not all what it's cracked up to be. But thank you for coming back and volunteering and helping find the new agent. That's a real plus for us.
Yeah, my wife keeps calling me a rhino. Retired name only?
Yeah, exactly. I understand that. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to appoint Matt Morrow to the Conservation Commission.
Move to appoint Matt Morrow to the Conservation Commission.
Seconded.
Any questions? Anybody have any questions out there? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. Okay, so now, Sterling Street Market, Jane Morgan is not coming in, but this is the market that is usually in the park from May through October. There is one weekend. There is not? Okay. So Jane is asking for permission to use the common for this street market, which has been very successful from what we can see. You come down to the center of town on a Saturday morning and there's plenty of vendors and craftsmen and some food. And so she would like to do it again or continue the use of it.
Yeah, I've heard no complaints at all, to be honest with you, about anything, whether trash cleanup or inconvenience, the driving or parking or anything else. And they have their set of rules in the back here, and I think they've abided by them as well as could be expected, so I have no problem with it.
Okay, I should mention that this is actually somewhat of a fundraiser for the Cocker Spaniel Rescue of New England. So all the rentals, et cetera, and so on for the tables, which she doesn't do the rentals. It's a commission type thing. So, but whatever she sells goes to the Cocker Spaniel Rescue. So with that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve the application for use of the property.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. I should also mention that they would like to use the electronic sign when possible. Doesn't happen often, but be able to use the signboards as they have in the past. Anybody have a problem with that?
No.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back to antique permits. So the antique permits, the dealers that have submitted are right at the bottom of your list, and it's Redemption Rock Trading Post, Sterling Rare Coin, Kratz Junction Antiques, Oh My God Antiques, oh no, it's not Oh My God, it's Oh My Gosh Antiques, and Everett Pierce Antiques, and Nouveau Riche Antiques. Permits for each of those.
I'm good with those. If there's any problem, I'll move, we approve the request for the antique permits for those you just mentioned.
Second.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Second.
Krantz and I. Okay, and now we did go through some of the warrant, as you all know, at our last meeting. This warrant, what we need to go through now is basically the money part. Right, Bill?
Yes,
And
and there's
this-
a couple at the end that we didn't take care of.
Yeah, we put on hold.
Finance committee and capital committees took care of everything Monday night.
So the first article would be the town operating budget, and as Bill said, Finance Committee recommends approval.
The version you have doesn't have their itemized vote.
Okay. And this article authorizes spending and appropriation of expenditures from the town general fund and annual operating budget. Okay. So do you want to just go through these and then vote for your approval, or do you want to do them one at a time?
Just go through them.
All the money articles, so go ahead.
So number one is the operating budget. This would be to raise $13,295,903 for the town's operating expenses. Any questions, comments, concerns, or other? That also utilizes the ambulance, cemetery perpetual care, and the water enterprise funds for their offsets there. Second one was Wachusett Regional School District assessment, $13,135,104. It's actually $80,000 less than that. We have the out-of-district vocational transportation and tuition we have to pay. That number is not really moved since we got their initial. That was a 4-2 vote by the Finance Committee. Support.
4-2 to support?
Yep. Monty Tech was a 6-0 vote to support. There was $1,018,231 for our assessment there. Stop with that section now, or go through all of them? Do the consent calendar together.
Okay.
Snow and ice deficit is the only one that may change lower. Right now it's at 225, but this should be the last payroll and warrant, so we'll see where things fall. Article 5 is the elected officers' compensation, select board, assessors, board of health, planning board, DPW, and town moderator. That was unanimously approved. ML, Municipal Light Board compensation, same thing. The stabilization fund, Article 7, $250,000 of free cash to go into there. Was unanimously approved. Article 8 would be to transfer $400,000 free cash into the capital investment fund. That was 4-2. Article 9 is the OP.
Excuse me, when we say finance board is 4-2, we don't actually indicate that. It's, when a board makes a vote, it's the majority vote, so it goes in as finance approval. It doesn't, we don't break down the
So right now I have it as Finance Committee recommends approval, and then in parentheses 4-2 or 5-1, depending on what it is. So
All right.
if you folks want something different.
Well, it doesn't go in there like that. A board or committee is a board or committee, and so when a board votes on something, the majority is what the answer is. We don't say, select board says yes 2-1, or,
Yeah, I was at the meeting, I didn't think there was an issue with it, because but it doesn't have to be there, but if it is, I mean, people have the right to ask, you know, what was the vote for Annie, whether it's select board or finance committee, but
okay.
Mr. King wants to comment.
Oh,
We did hold a vote at Finance Committee, that our recommendation was that the actual vote be included.
okay, but it's our decision whether or not that goes, so, you know, we can talk about it again, but, yeah. It really is this is the select board or town administrator's warrant, so, but where are you ever where, when a vote goes to the committee or board or whatever, that you announce that it's not unanimous?
Many towns do, Maureen.
They do? All right, if you could send me those towns in an email, I'd like to see it. I'm sorry, Bill.
Article 9 is the OPEB, Other Post-Employment Benefits Trust Fund, be retiree health care once it gets fully funded, which, long way to go, it's about a $15 million liability. That's 217 from free cash, 1,000. That was a 4-2 vote as well. Reserve Fund, 100,000 from free cash for the Reserve Fund for 24. Article 11 is ambulance receipts to the Capital Investment Fund. One of the capital items we'll get to in Article 15 is a new ambulance. So we are basically using the Capital Investment Fund as a bank to not pay interest, and we'll get that replenished over the next 3 years. That was 5-1. Article 12 was the prior year warrant articles. You can see the list there. It's about $22,000 to reuse, sent back to the Capital Investment Fund here. And that is the end of the consent calendar.
Okay, so why don't you hang on for a minute, and John, do you have any questions or input for any of
No, I
those
think
first 12 articles?
I think it's laid out pretty good, very very good information. My only question, and I think I know the answer, but on Article 8, the Capital Investment Fund, I know that increases the fund to $3,433,000, but that's before
Anything is spent in 50.
right. So we'll have an
So
exact
it'll
number
end
after.
around 2.6.
That's what it'll be approximately at the. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Okay.
David, did you have any questions?
I do not.
Before we move forward?
All set?
Well, I would entertain a motion that we also approve Articles 1 through 12.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
France and I.
Next set is the Water Enterprise Fund. Article 13 is the 24 operating budget, which would be $1,311,286. That includes their $40,000 reserve fund. That was unanimously approved or recommended. Article 14 is their capital expenditures, which comes to a total of $980 with some borrowing authorizations and use of their retained earnings to follow up on the water source that we approved last year, splitting of wheeled excavator, truck replacement, and the larger project, which is the West Sterling variable drives and generator replacement to upgrade that facility. That was fully approved or recommended. Article 15 is the 28 capital items funded between free cash, capital investment fund, cemetery lot sales, and the sale of used equipment. And it's presented there. The departments that had those came into the Finance Committee, gone over it, and that was 4-2 from the Finance Committee and 5-1 from the Capital Committees to move those forward.
What were they thinking of taking out? Was that anything specific?
In that long list,
Yeah.
it was mainly the long list for me.
Oh, just take the whole thing out? Okay. All right. All of these require a 2/3 vote, as people should know.
And then Article 16 is the DPW facility feasibility study. Ryan presented the idea of looking at this, feasibility of a new, either renovation, whatever options it is for an upgraded facility. Obviously, it is aging, so we broke this one out because it has the potential to be a much larger impact. One of the discussion pieces was changing the summary, which we have done from what you have in here, listing the potential cost options through that. So that was a 5-1 recommendation. I think that's the end of the financial ones in this first section. Then there's a couple other things we didn't cover in the back.
Those are all the 2/3 votes. Any questions, John?
No, no, I understand it, but I think this capital Article 15, that's one where, as I mentioned to Joe and his people, this FinCom, the other night, I think we're going to talk about having one of the reporters from, I don't know if it's the Meeting House News or the item like we used to do in the past, just to explain, because I think questions will come up on this one, you know.
Questions will come up on the whole thing.
Right, but this will give them some information before the actual evening of town meeting, so I think we're going to try to do that. When, I don't know, but it'll obviously be before, May 8th. So I'm good with it. I mean,
Well, we're going to, you're going to do a little
question and answer.
bit on SLCT.
Right.
That's going to be televised.
I thought that would be the combined one with the reporter being there as well, or is it just be,
You could do that.
okay.
Ask Jan to come, ask questions. We need to set that up with Matt.
I sent that over
David?
today.
I don't have any questions.
I sent that to Matt today.
Okay. All right. So, I entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar, or the consent vote here, all of the articles that require the 2/3 vote.
So moved.
Second.
Any further questions?
I just want to thank Joe and the Finance and Capital Committees for their work on all these financial articles. There's a lot of time went into it, as I well know from
Yeah.
years gone by. So thank you, Joe, and your committee. Much appreciated.
What's next, Bill, that you want us
I
to
think
look at?
the Article 26 we didn't vote on the last time, which was the general bylaw trash user fees. This is submitted by the DPW. We were looking for a new summary, which was presented there. And then the animal control bylaws, I think, were the last ones after that, which are 35 to 39.
On these, the trash user fees, isn't that something that the DPW should make a recommendation on?
Yes, and they have, so I can add that.
Okay.
So this allows a mechanism for
Additional.
additional fees if people use more than the allotted amount that they currently have.
All right. And those fees have not been set, that they would have a hearing on all of this once it went through? It's basically to satisfy those people who don't have enough trash receptacles. Okay. Any questions on that one, John?
No, I mean, I'm sure Ryan will be available to answer, but that's what it is to give them a mechanism to charge extra for extra bags of trash at fees to be determined by that board, by the DPW board. So I think it's a good thing. What those fees are, I don't know at this time. I don't think anybody
No, we won't
does.
know.
So.
They haven't said anything.
And then the last four are the animal control bylaws, which take up the last couple pages here through Article 39. Some of them are GL changes, some of them are clarifications for sections 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the bylaw, and 7.
And these have been approved by planning and CBA? Planning and CBA,
They have not gone to planning. Now, do they go to ZBA typically?
no, it's planning that was talking about all of these.
No, those would be the kennel changes when we get to them.
Oh, okay.
This is just the enforcement part of the bylaws.
Okay. And just make a note that the strike-throughs are not there. I'm all set. I know that they've been through them.
Yeah, almost, it's just the accessory dwelling units we're talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm okay with those.
Okay. So a motion to add our name to the Article 27?
So move.
Oh, no, you did that the last meeting. I thought you were already on to animal control.
Not?
That's what I've been talking about.
Oh, all right, so animal control.
We took care of everything else up to third.
Yeah, so the animal control is the Animal Control Commission and the ZBA, right? Who took care of this, the animal control?
Animal control.
Right. In conjunction with the zoning board.
I don't know.
Why would they go to the zoning board for hearings for kennels if,
No, they haven't done anything with the zoning board.
all right,
If it was the kennel bylaw table of use, then it would have, then that's what they've been working on, all 3 boards.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with this now? I
No.
thought they were gonna present that at
They are
town
not.
meeting.
They still have not come to a consensus.
I see. All right,
Planning and zoning have agreed on something, but animal control is not. They're also going to wait for the new definitions from the state on personal kennel,
now that won't be ready for town meeting?
not this year.
No. All right. I'm all set with it. I don't know that the select board needs to support it.
We do not, I don't think we do.
No, well, you can make a recommendation to support it or not.
The animal control articles,
Yeah.
the only one.
It has to do with dogs.
I know it does. So we're not talking about these citizens petitions at all, right?
No, we have nothing to do with those.
All right. Principal use change. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I went over that with Bill earlier, and I didn't see anything that looked. I mean, we're adding a ferret to a dog and a cat for one of these things. I don't have any issue with these. I think they're.
Do you want to recommend that the select board approve or disapprove or recommend?
What have we done in the past on this stuff? On these bylaws?
You can either approve it.
I'm in favor of it. I mean, I think it's, and I see that it says, I think I think we should put
You
our
wanna
2 cents on.
support it.
Yeah. Support,
Then why don't you make a
right.
motion?
make a motion, we support Articles 35, 36, 37, and 38, and 39.
David?
One moment, please.
holding on.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Anybody else have an opinion about dogs, cats, snakes? No, we're not elongating this.
Ferrets.
Ferrets, all look the things.
We had ferrets this year, yeah.
Great. All right, I'll take a vote on it.
Till coin eye.
Cranston, no. But we're gonna put it in there as the select board supports.
As you please.
And we've already done Primrose Lane, so you're all set, Ron. You're already in here, you're ready to roll. What other,
I think the trash one is the only one we haven't taken a vote on. 6. Everything else we took care of at the last meeting.
all right. So a motion on,
6.
yes.
Yeah, I'll move we support Article 26, general bylaw trash user fees.
I will second that.
Any further discussion, David? Seemed like,
Well, I'm just kind of curious as to the financial impact of this
to whom?
to the ratepayers.
Well, they haven't come up with a rate yet.
I know that, that's kind of.
Maybe by town meeting they will, and then the voters can decide whether or not they want to move it forward. Because in essence, no matter what we say in our finance meetings or our select board meetings, it really goes down to the voter.
Correct.
And the only thing you can do is promote what it is that you're interested in or not interested in. Joe wants to spend no money. So he's able to go out there and make signage and promote that. But bottom line, it's going to go to the voters.
Yeah, and that fee is going to get set at a public hearing by the DPW
Right.
anyway, whatever it is, whatever they, and they'll get good feedback at that, pro or con. So there'll be a lot of input, as it says, from time to time, so.
All right. And then the last thing that's always on the warrant is the town election. And the good news is we have individuals running for each of the listed boards, Board of Assessors, Board of Health, Select Board, Constable, DPW, Library Trustees, Planning Board. We have no one. If anybody wants to raise their hand for that. And Sterling Housing Authority, Sterling Municipal Light, and Wachusett Regional School Committee. So we have candidates for all of these positions. Some of them have more than one candidate, which is really a plus for us.
It's quite encouraging.
It is, people stepping up and stepping in. The only one that has an issue right now is the planning board. You always do a write-in for that. It's a 5-year term. And you're going to get a chance to meet the candidates on April 24th. SLCT will be putting on a candidates night. It'll be right here in the room, it'll be filmed, you can come, you can ask questions of all the candidates as we move forward. So our town meeting is May 1st, elections is May 8th. Mark your calendars. Also know that we have mail-in now for even our town elections. So you can get an application, it's right online, and mail in your votes if that's what you would like to do. All right. And then we just have to sign off on the warrant,
Yeah,
what you want.
That's number 8 in there from the town clerk, the return service.
Yep. So I would entertain a motion to sign off
Motion to sign off on
on
the
the
warrant.
warrant.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. All right, so that's done, and when do you think we will have these printed and put on the website, Bill?
I have sent it over to town council for review, so they may have a couple little things here or there on the language. So I'm hoping in the next couple weeks we can get it over to the printer and back to us.
Okay. can actually put it up on the website before it goes to the printer even, can't you?
Once I get it back from town council, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so do that as soon as possible, and that way, it just gives people, this is, I have to say, last year was a real push to get the warrant out and up and running, and so this is a nice breathable spot to be in. I appreciate that. Appreciate what the finance has done, what you've done. Thank you.
Only in March, it's amazing.
Only in March. All right, so the next thing we have is Bill's town report.
Sure. Obviously, the warrant's been the biggest one. I believe I mentioned the last meeting that the planner is going to be submitting an application, has already got the expression of interest, but will submit the full application for the performance zone for some support from Mass Development. We are also going to be working on the MBTA adjacent community bylaw as well, and trying to identify parcels where that overlay district could be. That's a requirement of having multifamily as a by right use in an overlay. So that has to be somewhere around 30 acres to fit that. So it's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, it's going to be some work. Waiting on West Boylston right now to get the position posted. We have a couple candidates from our first batch for the shared facilities position, manager position. So once we get the okay from them, we'll get that posted and hopefully get that filled. But the IMA has been supported by both towns. We just got to get the posting out there. No major updates on the ADA grant from the beach, other than the support from the Conservation Commission last week for the improvements that we had to go to for the drainage and some of the improvements we had to get approval from them. Matt has already taken care of mentioning that we have 3 applicants for the conservation agent position. We went from a couple weeks ago not having any to 3 in a couple days. So we've interviewed one, we'll interview another tomorrow, and we have a 3rd one coming up. We also have the assistant town clerk opening. Today was Michelle's last day, and right now I think we have 3 applicants for that. Filed the paperwork for the $100,000 back from the state for the playground at the school, so hopefully we get that reasonably quickly. Some folks have already noticed, but Fox 25 will be hosting their broadcast here in August, so we're doing some of the scouting work today with them, showing them around town. There's also going to be a potential for a magazine spotlight on Sterling, and we'll get working on that. Steve, town planner, was mentioning the subsidized housing inventory with Northgate, Millie's Way, a couple others is getting close to the 10% requirement, and we have the ATM on 5/1 and the election on 5/8. Let's see, 1835, the acoustic tiles upstairs will get installed in the next week or so, and we received some grant funds a couple of years ago, which was supposed to grant it in that green area. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen right away, so Ryan and I, we used that for the striping plan, which he presented a couple months ago, and that striping work. They've also approved us to order some rectangular flashing beacons for pedestrian crossings in the downtown area once we start construction. That's about it for me.
Questions for Bill?
Good update.
David?
Thank you.
All right, and we actually have an executive session this evening, so but before we go there, so we mentioned the candidates, and also I'd like to welcome Matt Stalbeck back to town. Matt has taken the manager's position over at SMLD as of this past Monday. So Sean will stick around for a little bit longer, but Matt will be at large in charge as we move forward. The plus on that is that Matt knows the town. He's actually worked with this SMLD as far as being on their board at one point. worked with the 1835, so it's a plus. So welcome, Matt. And we won't see you before Easter, so I would hope everybody has a joyous Easter and maybe flowers will bloom soon and we can have a spring. So that's that. Anything, Joe, other than fighting with me about this thingy?
Only question you usually ask, were there any bites on the scholarship yet?
Kama's not here. But posted that, and there's a couple of other things around that, you know, put out there for kids. But did you want to apply for one?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're going back to school. Maybe John wants to go back to school. Okay, anything else for you, Ron?
No.
Vicki? I haven't gotten to you, Richard. Richard?
Cleanup. People that on April 22nd.
Oh, yes.
We have the town-wide cleanup at the town common. Come down and pick up some bags and some gloves. Find out where you're going to do your volunteer work, and appreciate all the help we can get.
Along with that, I also got a note for us to have a proclamation for the April 22nd. There's some few things in there that need to be changed up, but I'll bring it in next meeting and you can read it, and it will be before the town. It's about Earth Day. Anything you'd like to add, Ms. Littlefield, anything? Fascinating, isn't it? Comma, Mr. King was wondering if anybody has applied for those scholarships. Not yet. Okay. It's out there. Roseanne, anything? You want to apply for a scholarship? Be nice. All right, well, that being said, we are going to adjourn our regular meeting and move on to our executive session. So,
Move to adjourn.